Thomas Hogan, congrats, you won the giveaway from last week. Another week, another list, chatting about the trending books in the comic marketplace with an Overstreet price guide advisor. Starting them off at number 10, Russ, with Darth Vader issue number 9, the design variant.
Now, this 1 in 10 variant actually came out this last week, and we are seeing them selling for $18 average sales with a high sale for a $30 raw.
Comic fam, this is such a dope issue. It's a design variant with reason, because we're seeing Darth Vader, the most iconic as well as intimidating characters to ever have been created, on the cover. But on the inside, we find out more history about how he was reconstructed, and Emperor Palpatine used some of the worst technology available to save Anakin. This is so dark, and it makes the character that much more disturbing to think about, because he had to be reborn out of pain and just utter destruction and trash.
Hey, comic fam, you know we do this every single week, so hit that like, hit that subscribe button to follow us for the trending comics every single week here with me and Comic Tom. Now, number 9 on the list, we have Deadpool, the Circle Chase, number 1. Those of you who are Deadpool fans know that New Mutants 98, then a bunch of X-Force appearances. This is his first miniseries, a solo miniseries from 1993.
$15 average sales, a high sale of a respectable $130 for a CGC 9.8. And we have some positive news, which we've been long awaiting for.
Oh, yes, definitely. Being able to hear from Kevin Feige that we are going to be seeing a new Deadpool movie showing up in the MCU, and it's going to be rated R. This is what Deadpool fans have been longing to hear for a very long time.
118% increase in copies sold. We were just seeing a couple months back Ryan Reynolds complaining about how slow of a process this script was taking to be made. And we're now seeing reveals this week that he's got script in hand. So good news. And this is an awesome book. It's very underrated. You can get a key book that is under $20 that's difficult and high grade because of that black cover. Deadpool dealing with some mercenaries out in Yugoslavia.
And Tom, this is so crazy because Yugoslavia is not even a country anymore and actually kind of dissolved and turned into another country around the time that this book came out. Is Deadpool responsible for that? I'm not quite certain, but you're going to have to watch the movie and find out.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, break out your X-Men 4s. Omega Red may be coming. And let's take a look at number 8 on the list, because FF94 is making it. We got Agatha Harkness to discuss, and this witch is debuting tonight on Disney+. Can you believe it? WandaVision is officially happening, Russ.
Tom, I am very excited about WandaVision this week. And, you know, as we watch more of these episodes and more characters are introduced, we're going to see books like this spiking left and right. $125 average sale with an $875 high sale for a CGC 9.6.
We've been chatting about this comic book, Russ, for over 6 months. We knew that Catherine Hahn was going to be playing a noisy neighbor, likely a witch, possibly dating back to the Salem witch trials. Well, we saw her close captioned name revealed to be Agnes. Could it be Agatha? Probably, which is why up until this very week, we have been seeing steady gains and speculators put money towards this key comic book. A 92% increase in copies sold. It's also the first appearance of Agatha's cat, Ebony, the demon-like creature, and I expect to see this gato soon.
I am really excited to get home from work tonight, Tom, and just go turn on my Disney Plus and watch this.
At the list, at number 7, we have Punisher issue number 13, written by Matthew Rosenberg back in 2019. With purpose, we'll get to it. Hitting $10 average sales and $15 for a raw high-grade copy. An increase of copies sold of 750% after further criticism over the Punisher emblem being utilized. And pressure being put on Marvel to possibly table it and retire the logo and possibly the character altogether.
So, Tom, the Punisher symbol has been used by many branches of the armed forces for years, and it hasn't been used for anything that negative. Only recently have we been seeing more and more radical groups using this as a symbol of hate and negativity, and this is not the type of publicity that Marvel Comics wants.
I dig the retweet John Berthal posted about this situation. He's the actor who played Punisher in the Netflix series. I'm a Punisher fan. No matter how many nut jobs steal his logo, I'll still be a Punisher fan. They don't understand what it truly symbolizes. If they did, they wouldn't wear it, and I'm not going to let them take it from me. John's response was, I'm with you. These people are misguided, lost, and afraid. They have nothing to do with what Frank stands for or is about. Big love, Jay. And I happen to agree with John. I don't associate the Punisher with anything people wear, just like I don't associate those who are members of Anonymous wearing a V for Vendetta mask with the V for Vendetta tattoo that I wear, courtesy of Alan Moore.
Well, and if you want to look at John Bernthal's other television show, The Walking Dead, a lot of people like Negan. A lot of people wear Negan t-shirts, but that doesn't mean we all have to go out and kill Glenn with a baseball bat.
Well, in the pages of Punisher 13, Marvel addresses this situation, but this was back in 2019 because there were other cultural happenings that warranted the topic to be discussed. And that's what comics do. They discuss the difficult and they put it right out front for us to consume and really provide our opinions. In this particular case, Frank Castle's response to police officers wearing the Punisher emblem was, we're not alike. And if you try to emulate what I do, I will come after you. Take it as a threat. Don't be like me. If you want to have a role model in Marvel Comics, you got Captain America. And that's what Matthew Rosenberg put into this panel. And I think that right there is all that needs to be said about this topic.
Wow, guys. Number 6 this week. I want to say I'm surprised, but I am not. King in Black, Gwenom versus Carnage, number 1, the In-Hyuk Lee variant. This is a 1 in 25 variant. They're selling for $100 solidly, $125 on bids. We even had pre-sales at $140. This is the variant to have for this series. It is absolutely gorgeous, but the thing that blows my mind is that it is an offshoot of an event mini-series, and this really just... It feels a lot like the Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider variant that we had a couple years ago that was just the most talked about book. It's an absolutely amazing variant, and In-Hyuk Lee just hits it out of the park again.
This book is hot, but In-Hyuk Lee really brought the heat with this title because he did another variant as well, an homage to Mary Jane's first appearance, the Face It Tiger, you hit the jackpot Gwenom variant. Now we got to take some time to look at number 5 on the list, Russ, because it feels good when Spec pays off, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, Tom. Number 5 on the list, Ruins of Ravencroft Carnage, number 1. Now, we've been talking about Cortland Cassidy Spec for a while now, probably 6-7 months or so. Well, now we know that something's happening with him.
$15 average sales, $100 for a CGC 9.8. And we're chatting Planet of the Symbiotes issue number 1. Spoiler warning, but when we have a new character that debuts that's making its rounds on Instagram, you're coming here to the channel, hit the subscribe button to be informed. So spoiler warning is in full effect right now. We have Cortland Cassidy being resurrected by Null, and we have a new character called Plague.
Well, this book's seeing an 833% increase over last week's sales, and there is a super low print run second print of this as well. It's a one-shot. Not a lot of people pick this book up, so for Donnie to harken back years ago to the first serial killer and make him get tied into something with this new King in Black, you knew he was going to do it.
Comic fam, utilize that code TOM101 over on Key Collector Comics. If you were following Key Collector's Top 20, you would know that there was major spec towards this character happening for about half a year. You could utilize the code TOM101 to unlock a free 1-week subscription of the best comic app in existence. But you also support the show and enhance your comic collecting and speculating, because we were calling this moment for months. Now, let's take a look at number 4 on the list, because more of a inevitability is what this is feeling like. We have Kanan the Last Padawan, issue number 6.
This book is selling for $170 average sale with a $700 CGC 9.8 with a 118% increase in copies sold for the first appearance of Sabine Wren, first appearance of Ezra Bridger, and first appearance of Hera Syndulla.
June of 2020, we heard rumblings that Ezra was being casted, and it didn't even really matter because as soon as it was confirmed that Ahsoka Tano was coming, well, that leads to her team and to a narrative that would include an antagonist, Grand Admiral Thrawn, which was validated in The Mandalorian Season 2. So naturally, Sabine Wren, Ezra Bridger are both being heavily spec'd upon, and now that there are rumors that Ezra and Thrawn may get their own spin-off series, well, it's only pushing more individuals to buy this key comic book that at the time of Marvel's acquisition, they were pumping out a lot of stuff. I'm getting some High Republic vibes with this comic book, Russ.
That is absolutely correct, Tom. When Marvel got the rights to start making Star Wars comics, they did a bunch of miniseries. They did a Leia miniseries, they did a Han Solo miniseries, they did a Chewbacca miniseries, but along with those, they made the Kanan and the Last Padawan and Mace Windu, which were only for the diehard Star Wars fans. Well, now we're seeing the high demand for those low print books, which is again why we're seeing so many people trying to jump on High Republic.
The FOMO is real, comic fam. Let's take a look at number 3 on the list. We have the first appearance of Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, and Amazing Spider-Man, annual number 16, seeing $65 average sales, a high sale for a 9.8 copy of $669. And there is a Canadian price variant. Instead of the price being $1, it was listed as $1.25. And hit him with the 9.8 record breaker of that issue, Russ.
$1,250 for that one. Canadian price variants don't always go as high as they do, but this one had a staggering number of bidders in on this.
Well, after 42 bids, we have a new Canadian price variant breaking crazy records. We knew Monica Rambeau was coming like since 2019, but we didn't know that she would be aged up. We didn't know that she was going to debut in WandaVision until like literally a few months ago. And members are trying to secure their copy of this major moment for this character right before the debut of this series, which is happening as we're filming this show. Now, who will Monica Rambeau end up being? Will she be replacing Captain Marvel? Will she become Pulsar, Spectrum, or Photon? My vote is on her becoming Photon. Take a look at Avengers Unplugged, issue number 5, where she takes on that moniker. She's a couple different superheroes in canon, but this particular book is of interest to me because of that Easter egg we saw in Captain Marvel. I'll remind the community that Monica Rambeau's mother went by codename Photon, and it was on her fighter pilot jet. So this right here could be just an Easter egg, or it could be foreshadowing to the superhero that Monica Rambeau will become. And it could take one episode of this brand new series to push this comic to all new heights.
Regardless of what Monica Rambeau becomes, I'm still very, very excited to watch every single episode of WandaVision.
And now we're at the list at number 2, and I want to let you know about a comic I've been highly anticipating, really, since we found out it was coming out. Courtesy of Maxwell Prince. You know him from his work on Ice Cream Man. We have his next brainchild. Horror masterpiece in the making. Haha, issue number 1, seeing $15 average sales and $35 high sales for a raw copy. I think people are worried about experiencing the same FOMO they felt about Ice Cream Man. What do you think, Russ?
Tom, you know I am such a big fan of horror, and Ice Cream Man has been a great read from beginning up until now. And Haha was something that was on a lot of people's radars, and you know what? A ton of people jumping on this book, and it's very, very well deserved. The writing is fantastic, the art is creepy, and I'm excited to see this on the list.
Take a look at the Tyler Kirkham. Only 500 copies available of this very stylized but creepy clown cover. There's also a Megan Hutchinson, like almost Ronald McDonald vibe going onto this cover with a limited run of 250 for the sketch variant. There's also a color variant of that same issue. Take a look on Key Collector Comics where all of the variants are listed, but this comic was everything I was hoping it would be. More existential surrealism with a weird clown. It gets cerebral, literally, and you're gonna love the ending. It is wild, and I cannot stress, get this on your pull list, comic fam. And hit the description below to join the Mystery Mail Call, our comic subscription service where you directly support what we do, but you give us an excuse to send you comics every single month. And we teamed up with Davey Go. You know he's all the way out in Jamaica doing killer covers for the comic fam. And we teamed up with Dynamite to secure a copy of Red Sonja Superpowers issue number 1 in every single mail call box. We got another exclusive on deck. No worries, but hit the link in the description to join the community and secure this comic. And we have other exciting announcements later in the month.
You know you got to stay tuned until the end of the video because we have a giveaway on deck. But number 1 on the list this week, Future State Teen Titans #1.
Oh my gosh, Russ, this is what I was hoping for. I was a little disappointed after week 1 of Future State, but with the Future State Teen Titans #1 debuting this week, I am all in. $4 average sales. We're already seeing high sales of $20 for a raw copy. And yes, we see the first appearance of what we kind of expected to see. New characters, some old characters, but I don't think anyone expected to see the retcon, I would even call it a retcon, the gold ball, whatever's happening with the Red X in this issue just changed the game.
We knew that being in the future, we were going to see some of the characters we've known and loved, like Nightwing, Starfire, and Raven, and then the combination of some characters like Cyborg and Beast Boy, but some new characters like Johnny Chupacabra coming out in this book. Oh, it's a hot one.
We have, comic fam, what I think to be the biggest thing to happen at DC Comics since the introduction of Punchline last year. And that's something to say, comic fam, but I really believe it to be true because Red X is a character that no one saw coming in the Future State and was a character debuting in the Teen Titans animation show that was so popularized because of his character design and mystery surrounding who was under the mask, that to this day there are still YouTubers who theorize and make videos about who could have been under the mask during the animation show, let alone within DC continuity, which just began this week with the introduction of this character. And not to mention, that's Nightwing with Deathstroke's mask on at the end of this issue. Need I say more?
So, Red X is definitely here to stay. We got a lot of great stuff going on in this character, and if you were paying attention, you might have gotten your orders in for Future State Teen Titans #1, the second print, which is a design variant with Nightwing and Red X on the cover. And if you were paying even more attention, you ordered #2, cover B, the Nustin Wen cover of Red X.
Comic fam, the conundrum about who the Red X is cannot be understated. Heck, in 2005, in Teen Titans Go issue #23, you actually see the character design from the animation show debut in a comic-size comic for the first time. And even within those pages, they do nothing but joke about the mystery of who this character is and reveal him to be a robot made by a villain within this one particular issue. It's more of akin to a one-shot. It has nothing to do with the character. If anything, it's more fan service surrounding this particular character, and it's just proving why, to this day, 15 years later, it matters when he shows up in DC's Teen Titans Future State issue #1. Comic fam, I appreciate your time today, and as always,
Geek responsibly.
enough said. Comment down below. Let me know what you think of the video. It'll enter you to win Thor issue #7 by Das Pastores. We got other videos for you to check out, and have a great weekend.